Good evening and welcome back to Trial Watch with Demetra. I am Demetra Lit all day, or as I like to refer to myself, self-appointed Judge D Lit. These dogs will not let me keep the door closed, but whatever. Good evening, Lit Lane Jury Box. Long time no see you since last night. Let's get this switched up. Cool. Let's boom. Right. So let's see who's here. Hey, Winter. Good evening. Good evening, everybody. Y'all, please hit the like. Thank y'all for supporting the channel. We on part 3, day 3 of Killer Case trial number 2, which is the gruesome betrayal trial. Okay, this is the trial of Kemia Hassel. That's her to my right. She on trial for the unaliving murder, the murder unaliving of her husband, Sergeant Tyrone Hassel. That's him at the top. Now she started having an affair. Both of them was in the service. Had a little baby. Everything on the surface looked okay, but apparently Kemia. I don't know why I call her Kemia. Apparently, she wasn't that satisfied in this with the lot with the lot that life gave her. She felt like she was owed more. She should have more. She could have better. She started having an affair with Jeremy Quaylor. That's the gentleman to the right. Let me close my door. Let me try again. Close my door. Y'all go out. Go. Or y'all gonna stay up in here? Be quiet. Here, Rock. You wanna get on bed? Go get on bed. Let me put Rock on the bed so he can watch the goings ons, and they can know it's not playtime. All right. So she started an affair with Jeremy Quaylor. Okay, he was also in the service. They was over in Korea, Japan, China, somewhere. These two figured it'd be best to go ahead and get rid of Tyrone and get the insurance money, $400,000. So they planned, they plotted, and they set it up. When the couple Kemia and Tyrone Hassel went on a break, a holiday break there in Michigan. Denton Harbor, something like that. Benton Harbor, Michigan. That's when for several days they tried to set up the attack. It was unsuccessful. Then finally, the night of New Year's Eve, Kemia stayed at the house. Oh, I'm sorry, y'all. Hold on. Oh my God. Both of them barking, one howling. Apollo talk about, and then Rock bark. Okay. So, unfortunately, Tyrone House, as you see him, handsome young man at 22 years old, was shot down in his father's driveway, New Year's Eve. You know. So tonight we're gonna get to the real interesting part, the part I've been kind of waiting on, which is this. Now she had nobody suspected Kemia. Kemia was sitting there with the family, grieving, planning the funeral. She rode to the police station with the victim's father, senior. She rode to the police station with him. Little did they know, he had no clue what was about to happen. And that's what we're finna watch now. So I'm finna get this going. And it's going to be, that's Detective Andrew Lagusky. He finna testify, and this is where we finna see the footage of her when she when she confesses to what part she played in it. So I'm gonna cut the volume up. That's Apollo, child. Let me show y'all. Let me cut it up some because my dogs might be interfering. I hope y'all had a great day today. My day just been cool, planning, really getting ready for tomorrow. Me and my son going to go again to try to get his ID. For some reason, I couldn't find one in my documents when I went last week. So we have to reschedule again. All right, so here we go. So I'll be doing that tomorrow day. And we had to make some alternative plans because something else came up. They want to watch something else. Girl, they wait till I get busy. No, you're the only one in this track. It's me and you, girl. I'm coming on here so I can finish this case, girl. I've been so all over the place. I get it. You know what I'm saying? It's like, I get it. But I'm trying to get through this one here. All right.
Again, the record will reflect the jury is back appropriately seated in the jury box. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to continue at this time. And
this is Detective.
Thank you. Detective Moldusky, we were talking about you will sometimes help out other agencies in doing follow-up investigations and follow-up interviews for other agencies. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And were you involved in follow-up investigation and interviewing involving the murder of Army Sergeant Tyrone Hassel III?
Yes, I was.
Okay. And as part of that follow-up investigation, did you interview Kemia Hassel?
Yes, I did.
And before I point to her, I should ask you, is Kemia Hassel seated here in the courtroom today?
Yes, she is.
Okay, you're familiar with her?
Yes, I am.
Okay. And can you please point out, describe an article of clothing that she's wearing, just for the record?
She's a young lady with glasses and a blue jacket.
Okay.
all right, the record will reflect that he has identified the defendant.
And did you meet with her, I guess, probably the very early morning hours of January 12th, 2019?
That is correct.
Okay, and you met with her, what was your location where you met with her, sir?
Lansing.
Lansing, okay. And if I could just have you speak up so the jury can hear you, okay?
Lansing.
I just want to make sure everybody can hear. Okay, great. And how does she take transport up to Lansing?
I believe she was brought by detectives.
And was one of those Sergeant Michael Lanier here
Yes.
and Officer Jeremy Peppers?
Yes.
And when she got to Lansing to speak with you, did you indicate that, your part of her interviewing her is completely voluntary on her part?
Yes, I did.
Did you tell her she could leave at any time?
Yes, I did.
Okay, did she appear comfortable with you?
Yes, she did very much so.
Okay, did she have any needs that she asked, like use the restroom or anything along those lines?
They were provided, offered.
Okay, and did she take advantage of anything that was provided for her as needed?
I believe she had something to eat. I'm not sure. I can't recall.
Okay. And sir, prior to you conducting your interview with her, you go over certain rights with her.
That is correct.
Okay. Commonly known as Miranda rights, correct, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, I'm going to hand you what's been marked as People's Exhibit 117. Are you familiar with that form, sir?
Yes, I am.
How are you familiar with that?
This is the form that we signed that night.
Okay, that's a copy of it, sir?
A copy, yes, sir.
All right. And when you say we signed that night, did you sign that form?
I signed it also, yes.
And who else signed it?
Miss Hassel.
So when you go over the warnings with her, do you read them off that form?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Do you have a system
Welcome
to make
back,
sure that she's
Vixen.
hearing you and knows everything that you're reading and understanding?
What I do is I read them to them as I read each one.
It's just getting started, so you right on time. Thank you for joining.
Did she understand each right that she had?
Yes, she did.
Did she have any questions for you?
No, sir.
Did she appear confused in any way?
Not at all.
Okay. How long have you been interviewing witnesses?
25 years.
25 years? And how many interviews have you conducted as part of your job?
Probably 3,000 to 4,000.
3,000, 4,000. Okay. Have you had training for conducting interviews?
Damn, I thought you were going to say 100.
What kind of training have you had for conducting interviews with suspects or witnesses?
I've been through numerous.
Keep your voice up.
I'm sorry. I've been through numerous schools. I'm actually the instructor for the Michigan State Police, for our recruit schools, our basic detective schools. I teach all interview schools for us.
And what are some important objectives when you're interviewing?
Okay, so this is the best
You
of.
interview both
Let's get
suspects, and
to-
just as part of your training, are you careful to make sure that you're not getting misinformation from a suspect?
All right, so we know how they go about doing the interrogation, you guys. We're trying to get to doing this confession. I'll watch when we get to the nitty gritty. Hold on. Let me unmute it.
Stipulations,
All right.
redactions,
The interrogation.
I was gonna say that those
This is what I
noted
want to see.
exceptions,
Correct,
your
not
position. Okay, 119 is admitted then.
Welcome back, Miss Sassy Fran. So this was the interview with the police the night before the funeral was scheduled. The funeral for her husband was going to be the next morning. Was the next morning. Welcome back, y'all.
Should be all the way back. Yeah, for sure, that's the exact, yes.
Not right now. Okay. I'm definitely not going on top of these detectives. Because there's no doubt about it. You had something to do with this. I'm telling you right now, I don't care. I believe there's a lot of them.
Is that not loud enough? Okay, that's loud enough.
Can y'all hear it?
But look at them. I'm definitely not going on top of these detectives. Because there's no doubt about it. I don't care. I believe there's a lot of things going on. Do what they're going to do. And there's no doubt about it, you are a pawn here. You're the most important thing I care about right now because you know what? You matter to your son. And that matters. You.
Well, I hear them gaslighting them.
He's been a cop. I want to believe you're 100% clear of this. I don't know what's going on in Georgia. I don't care about Georgia. I care about you and I care about Michigan. I care about Chuck. But I'm telling you right now, he's wrapped you up in this. He's brought you down to something that you don't deserve to be part of. Not for a second. And I'm willing to say that. Without a doubt, I know you don't belong in this. You're not part of this. But what happens is we get involved in situations and we get a manipulated person. We don't see things clearly. You know what I really believe you said something?
She is looking real
What
uncomfortable.
all he brainwashed you with isn't true. It isn't going to be rosy on the other side. He's not the guy that's going to be out there helping you. He's the guy that's going to turn on you. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to give him that opportunity.
It's redacted, y'all. That's why I keep pausing or muting.
Working it out when she was honest with me and told me what was going on. But you got to get out from this. My hand is out for you right now. For only words, I just met you today. But I'm telling you, I've been doing this 24 years. And I pick people off all the time. Good people, bad people. I'm telling you, what I see in you is a good person. You're not a manipulative person. You're not the person driving this. Now, you may have gone along with it without a doubt. And there's no doubt about it, you did. What I'm saying is, you are not driving this. You are not the one pulling the trigger. You need to get out from this for your son. Because you have a future. And I'm just Without a doubt you are, but don't let him put you underneath the bus, because that's where it's going right now. Because this isn't something you planned. This guy got into you, he got into your head, you guys are working together, he's playing you, and I don't mean it in a bad way. We all get played. We've all been in that situation because we have problems in a relationship. You're going through the hormone thing, whether you know it or not, after having a baby. That 1 year thing is a big time where you're going up and down. You know what I'm talking more than I do. I know what my wife went through. She was fluctuating. I know we had some hard times because she was having problems with me, and I was like, I wasn't doing anything. But you know what? That's not your fault. But getting out in front of it is what you got to do now. Because how we handle this from this thing forward is huge. My dad always said, you know what, Andy, it isn't what we do. It's not what happens to us. It's how we respond to it. And what you do today, what you do this minute is going to be a huge thing. Because I don't want those guys to wrap it up around you. You don't deserve to be in this circle at all. You've been,
Sweetie.
unfortunately, you were taken advantage of. And you were by a person who is a manipulator. The guy's cold-blooded, all right? To do what he did was cold-blooded. And he did it because, you know what? Next, he wants to be able to control you. He's going to have you to himself. Well, there's no doubt about it. You talked about it in your plan because, boy, you blow it up bigger than anything. You guys talked about it. I don't believe it's the girl I'm talking to right now. And I'm
She fell for all this.
I want to be able to say that. You know, you hear about co-signing a loan when they say that. You heard a loan co-sign for it? You got your house that you have to sign with you? Did your mom put it?
No.
You know what? But you know what co-sign means, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to put my name on with you. And I'm telling you, when I take and do this today, I'm gonna have to make a report somewhere along the line. Somewhere when we're done, when I get you through this, then I'm gonna make up a report that's positive. Because when I say, hey, I'm going to come alongside you and say, listen, this is the person I'm dealing with. You're a person like my uncle. You're a person that, you know what? There's some outside circumstances here that pushed you to a level that you would never been to. Now with all the stress and everything that was going on in your life, there's no way this would happen. And I believe that without a doubt. In order to do
They sure did
that's something I have
redact
to
it.
work with. Because you're not somebody
Yeah,
I gotta worry
Sash,
about.
welcome
You're not
back,
somebody that I'm
girl.
scared of.
Sweetie,
I mean,
welcome
we
back.
could have you here in Michigan the rest of your life with where my family lives. Do you know what I'm saying? But what you gotta do is you gotta be upfront. So before I talk about, I want you to listen. She wanted to be forced. She wants to be forced. She wants to be straight with this because she knows she's been played. And I believe that's all it was. Whether he told you this is going to be a great thing, we're going to go on, we're going to live together, and he's probably talking about all the money you're going to get, we can have the house paid off, you don't have to put up with this shit because Tyrone doesn't do this, and Tyrone doesn't do that, but I'll do this for you. We all fall into that trap. Everybody in this world can understand somebody that falls in that trap. Because what? Because we want to believe. We're going through stress. We're going through changes in our life, things that we don't understand. You've never been through this before. And you got a guy that is an animal. There's someone who took advantage of that situation. If that's all it is, and that's the person I go to bat with, you got to explain to me. There's no doubt about it. You guys talk about it, but the person what I'm talking about now is I need to separate. The person back then is not the person I'm talking to today. So when we talk about what was going on back then, if it was a manipulating thing when you guys planned this out, then I can go to bat for you.
He doing a lot of talking. Is he gonna let her say something? Is he gonna say what you
What
say?
was going on? Did he just start working you? Did it start in Korea? Is that where things started going? Because there's no doubt about it. This whole relationship's going.
In Korea, that's where it started. We weren't sexual or anything, but we were really close.
But you are now.
We were really close.
You guys are probably sexual somewhere throughout all that. You have to be to have this kind of, for me to get this hold on you, he's had to break you sexually to you. I'm guessing first.
Not even just sexually. It's just, I just was feeling so bad, like, with Todd. Like, nothing, me not wanting to be with him, but just how I was being treated. I was just feeling so bad. And it's just like he was just there, like, listening and everything. Like, he listened, like, he listened to me, and I felt like with Todd, it was times where he wouldn't listen to me. And that's who I would talk to when things weren't going the way I needed to go with my husband. I would talk to him.
We've all been there. And when that happens, what's he doing though? He wants you. He wants you for himself. There's no doubt about that. And he gets you sucked in because he becomes such a close friend. And you know what? You guys match just like this, don't you? That's what those guys do. They match to you because you're what he wants. So he's going to be everything that you think he's going to be. And I'm not saying today do this. Before you saw, I mean, it takes us sometimes to stumble before we see the light. But you're not the person that did this. You got to get out front. You got to explain the whole thing. But being part of it, there's no doubt about it. Your work, and I'm stuck with that. But I don't want to tell them that. I want to be able to explain that first and say, hey, listen, this is what happened. But this is the girl who was in Korea, away from her little one. The stress that they put on a female, I can't imagine. I'll be honest with you, I don't know why the armed services let a mom go away from the little one. That stress alone is enough. And then you got a guy, and I'm going to tell you right now, Ty's not the greatest guy in the world. I don't know if he knows that, but he had condoms in his pocket when he was bound. That day he had condoms in his pocket when he was going back to the party. So I know he probably wasn't the best husband all the time. I get it. If anybody gets it, it's me. Because getting cheated on and, a guy who's not committed to you and he's not giving you the attention you deserve, everybody gets it. When the hormones you're going through, it's not balanced well. You can't balance it. There's people that need medication for that kind of stuff when your hormones are out of balance. And if that's what it was, and he's feeling that need, and he talks you into something, then get out in front of it, because everybody gets swindled. Everybody gets hooked into these things. And if that's all I'm talking about, then we got to explain what was going on. Where did the steps go down? Because it started back in Korea. You guys started this relationship, and this relationship progressed. I know that. I'm not judging. Trust me, I understand that part of it. Especially because you probably know that Ty's, he's doing things on the side. He's probably been out there somewhat. It happens. You're feeling alone. You're 2,000 miles away.
Hey, welcome back, Good Soldier.
And you got a guy who's, he's everything when you're out there. I get it. When I was in Iraq, I'm telling you what, I don't ever felt more alone in my life. I was on base with a bunch of people, but I didn't know anybody. My wife wasn't there. Nobody was there. I was by myself. I've never felt that in my life like I did when I was over there. It's a feeling that only people who have been there understand. When you got a guy right there who's one, I can't imagine. I'll be honest with you, if I was working with a girl over there, and she was nice to me, and I would have felt. There's just no doubt about it. It's just because of the situations that we're in, and you going through all the hormonal stuff, you're a victim in this. I'm going to be honest with you, but you need to get out in front of this right now. For your little one, you got to get out in front of this. You got to explain what was going on.
And that's the moment right then and there to me where she said, okay, that's the moment when he said, you know what you are? You're the victim in this. As soon as he said, you're the victim, she should have said, okay, this is set up, this some bullshit. How you the victim and the man dead, your husband dead? Or live reaction.
You guys started talking about. I'm sure this started back in the Korea, their plans. He's telling you how it's going to be and all this. But this is the time to get out front. I won't bail on you, but we got to get out in front of this.
So, when we were in Korea, I can't really pinpoint exactly what it was again, so I had this big argument. And then, I came back into the building, I was talking to Jeremy. I'm like, man, I don't agree with him. I'm tired of this shit, I don't want to deal with no more. And he was like, so why y'all still together? And I was like, we have a child, and even if I talk to him about divorce, he probably wouldn't even, do it with me. And he was like, I can handle that. And I was like, what do you mean by that? He was like, I can handle it. Like, when I get back, I get a gun on my spot. But I never took him serious about it. I never thought that he would.
No, wait, this is where this way to stop you, though. Okay, I'm in your corner 110%. I'm not bailing. But the one thing I'm not a guy that's going to beat around the bush and go halfway and say that, yeah, he told me this and he was going to do it. Because when I asked you about that night, it's killing you. Because that night, stuff was going down. And whether you weren't sure what was going to happen, you were afraid, you want to keep your little one out of it, you didn't want it to happen in the house, I get that. And I give you credit for letting it happen outside the house. You know what I'm saying? Because if you didn't get him out of the house, if he stayed with you probably till midnight or 12:30, I'm not too sure Jeremy wouldn't come in that house. Because what's he want? He wants you. You know what I'm saying? And you knew that was going to happen. What I got to do is talk to that. They got him coming there. They know he's coming there. You knew he was coming there. What we need to do is talk about that, because this is off the charts. I'm only telling you it's off the charts. We need to talk about that night. You knew it was going to go down. You were still under his control. There's no doubt. I believe that 100%. But you got to explain what was going on that night. How did you do it? Did you know he was sitting there? He was there for a couple of days. So you know what was going on. You guys seen each other while he was in Michigan? Now listen, did you see him while you're in Michigan? Because they're going to take your phone apart. When they take your phone apart, it's all there. So what I want to say is, before they do that, I want you to be honest with me. Because if you guys are planning this, yeah, do it. And you're still, because you know what? You know Ty's not being the best husband. You know that. You're in a lost spot. This guy had you since Korea. He knew that. He's been working you since Korea. That is so common, you don't even realize what happens. Especially if everything's going on. You're caring for a young one, all this stuff. But we got to talk about that night. Because there's no doubt about it. We get planned it. You know what I'm saying? And I see you plan. I'm not saying you planned it, but you're part of that plan. So how did it go that night? Let's talk about that night. Then we'll back up. Then we're going to reorganize all this, okay? Talk to me.
That night, he said that he was in Michigan. He said that he was waiting for him. when he was saying that he was waiting for him, I'm like, he's not at the house. I don't really know where he is, but he's not at the house. I told him, I said, he's gonna be coming back soon. He came back to the house, nothing happened.
You called him back to this, so was that
No,
when
when he went to Walmart.
we went to Walmart, okay.
Yeah. I said, he's gonna be coming back. I said, he just let he's gonna be coming back soon. He came back from Walmart, nothing happened. Nothing happened when he left, and nothing happened when he came back. So from there, I was just like, okay, this not gonna happen. So when he told us about the food, he was saying that he was gonna get the food, and then, wondering where the food is, and I was gonna say, never mind, don't bring the food. And then I just said, then I was like, okay, well, you're gonna bring the food, anyway, just bring it. And then he was out there, and he was watching the house the whole time.
You knew he was there.
Where was he?
Where was he hiding? Where did you have him at?
If he was somewhere about the house, but I don't know exactly because I never told him hide right here because I don't really know the area. He was out there days before, like figuring out where he was going to be.
Okay. You guys now, remember, you and I talking about being 100%, because you and I got to be 100%, then we can talk about this, as far as talking about. Because I want to get this right first. We have a good foot going forward. So the plan, when do you start making this plan this is going to happen?
This came in Korea.
So when you're out there underneath all the stress, this all comes up. All right, so he gets you going, man, you guys do this. And when did you guys become romantic? Because he obviously became romantic, because nobody does this for a girl they're not with. You know what I'm saying? I get it, I'm not.
We're maybe about, April, maybe about 2 months into Korea.
Okay, so all that time you're getting closer and closer.
Yeah.
All right.
And
Hey, welcome back, Lou.
June was when I had the argument, and he was like, I'll get it done and I'll do it.
Okay, then when did you come back?
I came back October.
In October you come back. So you started something, but now you were talking about doing it in Korea.
Yeah.
So what happened? Why didn't you do it in Korea?
No, it was just planned in Korea. It wasn't to be done in Korea. It was just planned in Korea when we got back to the States.
Okay, so you get back to the States, let's kind of go through it step by step. You start talking. Your relationship with Ty going down?
Pause real quick. I want to say hello to everybody who came in. Hey, Lou, welcome back to the main jury box. She in there now talking with this detective. She done sent a lot of detective. I'm going to tell y'all, Oh, at this moment, let's not forget that part of her defense argument, right? What the basis of her defense, one of the huge part is she was coerced into this admission, into this confession. So I'm looking at it like, okay, do she look coerced to me? Does she look frazzled to y'all? She don't look frazzled to me. She don't look like, oh my God, y'all push me too hard. He don't sound like he pushed her too hard. He sound like he gaslighting the shit out of her. But definitely not like putting her over the rope. So let me know what y'all think. Because she definitely claiming coercion.
It wasn't really going down, but it wasn't being picked back up to where it used to be. It was kind of like, it was still low, but it wasn't becoming higher than what it needed to be, or what it used to be.
So where you wanted it back up to, he wasn't bringing it back up.
He wasn't bringing it back up.
Okay. Do you think some of that is because you have this interest now in Jeremy? Jeremy's kind of all that. Was he kind of filled that void, didn't he, when you started? The thing that Ty wasn't giving you, Jeremy was.
Emotionally, yeah, he was.
Okay. And so the plan was obviously that he's going to do this. So this starts going, how does it start to progress?
Well, it just started to progress by us being back here, and he's like, I want to see you. When can I see you? Can you come over here? And I'm like, I can't do that because we're back stateside now. And he's like, well, I need to hurry up and get this done, which is when it was brought up again because we planned it, but I didn't take it serious because even though
this is where you and I stay straight, because you did take it serious because you knew he was out there that night.
Well, yeah.
With a gun. I mean, so you know what was gonna.
Yeah.
You may not take
at
these stuff
this time,
serious.
but in the beginning,
you're doing talk.
Exactly.
But you want to be with Jeremy, right? At this point, he has you believing that this is
At
the
this
guy.
point, yeah, that this is the person that I need to be with, that is gonna do everything for me and my son.
Okay. And Jeremy says, I'm just telling you something that Jeremy says. Jeremy says you weren't going to divorce him because if he died, you got that money, so then give your boy a good start.
No.
He's getting the money, there's like $400,000 or something you're going to get or something.
That's what our life insurance is.
Right.
That's the life insurance. I haven't even got any of that.
Okay, but that would give your boy a good start, because Jeremy knew about that. You told him about that?
All of the soldiers have it. It's a requirement. Everybody has it.
Okay, so you guys just knew that would be something you would do?
Yeah,
Okay, and that was one of the reasons he decided to do it rather than just divorce, is that right?
that's another reason. Yeah.
Okay, well, that makes sense though, you know what I'm saying, at least you're looking out for your son, you know what I mean, you're gonna have something, because
I'm not gonna cut it no more, but right then, now he kind of trapped her with that one because she wasn't talking about no goddamn money. You know, he kind of walked her dead into that, when she was trying to say no. But anywho, I'm gonna stop interrupting.
without a husband, it takes a while to get on your feet. Now, what is the plan, like, once this is done, are you gonna move back down there, are you gonna be with Jeremy? Was he gonna say, once you get back down to Georgia, are you guys gonna hook back up, what's the plan?
Yeah, so the plan was, I get back to Georgia, and then he moves in and we go from there, just being together.
Okay. Yeah, so now, when it comes up that day, how do you text him that you're calling him back with the food? How do you tell him that he's coming back? Is he coming? Let's be honest, I remember this, I told you, when they take these phone calls, I don't want to say that I believe you 100% and say, hey, listen, this is what she told me. I believe she's 100%, and then find out that your Snapchats and all that stuff say,
I told him that he was bringing us back food.
he's bringing back the food. So where was he at? Where did he say, where am I at? It's going to come out. It's going to show up.
So when he came back from Walmart, it didn't happen.
Did he just not see him, or what happened? What did he say?
I don't know what happened. Maybe he got,
We've talked to him since then.
I think he said that he had somebody with him in the car.
Okay.
And I think that's why he said that it didn't happen. And he was just like, never mind, we'll just try another day. And he was still in the area, and then I said, well, he's about to bring us something to eat. And then that's when he came back.
Okay, so actually, he was going to call it off because he had the guy, because he got rid of that guy. I think the guy who got the cold feet, from what I understand. Because he's talking on that end, you know what I'm saying? So you called him and said, well, hold on, I'm just coming back to bring food.
Yeah, I said that he was coming back to bring us something to eat.
Okay, so he comes back and hides. You guys see each other face to face. Because he's at the house, right by the house. Does he ever come in that house?
We never seen each other face to face the entire time he was there. Even when he came, like, before, he would be like, well, come outside, come meet me. I'm like, no, I can't do that. We never met face to face. Even though he asked, we never met face to face.
Okay, so you didn't go outside. Why didn't you go outside? Because you knew he was casing the place for a couple of days.
Because I knew he was, and then too, I don't know the area, so I didn't know if somebody could have been outside watching, and then there was other times that he would say, come outside, and my stepmom-in-law would be in the house, and I'd be like, no.
Okay. So, kind of recap. This all starts in Korea. What is going to come out in the Snapchat that we're not talking about yet? I mean, how I make it look as honest as being honest with me now looks better than them just painting a picture. You know what I'm saying? You're telling them to hold on and come back. You're calling them back. You wanted it done that night rather than waiting for another day.
Yeah, pretty much, because we're supposed to be leaving on the 2nd.
You're supposed to live on the second one.
We're supposed to be leaving, going back to Georgia on the 2nd. And another thing is, his sister was supposed to be coming back to Georgia with us. And that's another thing that I didn't want to happen, but Tade wasn't giving me a say, so he's like, well, my mama can't take care of her, and I have to.
Living, welcome back, girl.
And while we were in Colorado, his brother was living with us.
And that's not fair to you, really.
We didn't really have time to enjoy our own space because as soon as we got married and we lived off close in our apartment, the next month he went and got his brother, and he stayed with us all the way up until maybe a couple months before we left Colorado.
Okay. All right, so this time he's going to bring his sister on the 2nd.
Yeah.
So you didn't want it to happen down there with her. So were you kind of looking out for her?
Yeah.
Or did you just want
Kind of looking out for her too, but mainly I just knew I didn't want. Another thing, I didn't want her coming to stay with us.
Okay, so you didn't want to go down there. You didn't want her to come with you. That, in other words, so you wanted it done before you left.
Damn, she cold-blooded.
Pretty adamant with them. I mean, what
Cold.
was the message going to show you? Okay,
Yeah,
get
I'd be like, hey, hurry up, he's on the way back, or don't leave yet, he's outside, or it's messages like that.
Was Jeremy getting cold feet?
I don't think he was getting cold feet because every time that he would come out, it wasn't him, it was something. Like, I remember one time, Todd came home and he had, like, his brother with him. I think every time it was like he had somebody with him.
Mm-hmm. And so he didn't want to do it with somebody with him?
Yeah.
Okay. Oh, and Ty came home, he had somebody with him, you're saying?
Yeah, That's what I'm saying. Like the other times where he would be at the house, I think that was the reason why he didn't get cozy. He just didn't want.
You know what? No, that says for you guys. I mean, that's actually, I mean, you look at it, you didn't want to take out somebody who didn't belong. You know what I mean? You wanted Ty gone, but you didn't want to hurt somebody innocent. That's you know what I mean? That says something for you. There are a lot of people who just shoot everybody. You know what I'm saying? So, as far as now, are you sad that you planned this out with them?
Yeah, that's why, even though I wasn't being 100% truthful in the beginning, that's why I kept saying
When
that.
you say you weren't 100% true, that's a kind of a major 100%. You were
Because of
you were
me saying that.
25%. Would you agree to that? I mean,
Yeah.
that's huge. I mean, I almost think with these guys,
But that's why when I kept saying that, with what I know now, if I could, I would go back and not do it. I wouldn't even talk to Jeremy at all, knowing that everything would have gone like this.
but Jeremy was going to go and you called him back. You know what I'm saying? And I get why you called him back. I mean, knowing now, what do you think should happen to you right now?
I don't know. Because myself, I feel just as guilty as him.
Well, I agree. I mean, I agree with you 100%. I mean, you helped plan it. I mean, he was going to leave that night. I said, no, get it done because you want it done before the second, before you leave. So on New Year's Eve.
But I know that even though he didn't get it done that night, he was going to just come back the next day.
Right. And you guys would be able to be together. So your plan was to go together, moving together down to Georgia.
Yeah.
Okay. Do you think it's a better environment to raise your son with him than Ty? With Jeremy and Ty?
That's how I was feeling, yeah, because there's so much that I dealt with, like, even just with the baby, it's so many times where, because I've dealt with the baby majority than Ty. Like, I can count on my finger how many times he's given him a bath. I can count on my finger how many times I've had a break after I've worked the same amount of hours that he worked, and I still have to come home and do everything for the baby.
I agree, that's not fair.
And it's like the reason why why the relationship and a bond was built between me and Jeremy, because he will always tell me, you don't have to worry about that. When me and you get together, I'll make sure you have your breaks. I'll do this for the baby. I'll do that. And it just made me really feel like that all of that was going to happen.
Boy, oh boy.
Why would you just divorce him?
I talked to him about it, and he didn't want to.
No, you called him back. You were in the plan. Why didn't you call the plan out? He was leaving that night. Why didn't you call the plan out and say, I'll just divorce him? Was it because he had some good money to spend out for your kid?
Not even just the money. It's
Not even just the money, or was it? I mean, is the money part of it?
the money is part of it, yes.
Okay.
But main reason being is because I just felt like if I would have called it off, like Jeremy probably would have like been upset at the fact that I called it off, and I didn't want him like mad at me.
Okay, but you understand though, calling it off would have saved your husband's life. You could have divorced him. Was Ty a bad man?
Not bad enough for this. And honestly, that's just like my remorse. That's really how I feel.
I believe you do. I don't believe you do it today. But you know, you put your needs and your wants above somebody's life.
I did.
$400,000 is not what Ty is. You felt it was before. Would you say that's a fair statement?
Yeah.
Let me think what we can do here.
She don't look hers to me. She looks like she's dealing with her reality.
Would Ty say he did with the gun?
What did Ty?
What did Jeremy say he did with the gun? I'm sorry.
I never asked after it happened. We never talked about it.
Did you see him run off then? Did you run out? Where did you? Now we're being 100% honest.
Yeah,
You guys have talked about.
I didn't see him.
Okay.
When I got out there, I didn't see him. But again, I didn't look.
These Snapchat messages. Now I know you're in a different place than you are right now. Okay. Are they going to make you look like you're pushing this? Because you're calling back.
Yeah. It's gonna make me look like I pushed it.
Okay. All right.
From me calling him back, it's gonna make me look like.
Because he wanted to bail on the issue that night. He didn't want to do it that night.
Yeah, but I know words don't mean anything, but I just know that he was gonna come back the next day.
Right. You didn't want to wait until after the second. So
Yeah, and because after the second, I knew it would happen. I knew that he was gonna be living with us, which sisters not just knew that I was just gonna be more unhappy.
All right.
And that's how I felt I was gonna
my wife's been unhappy with me. I'm glad that she didn't do that. You know what I mean? I wish she could have waited and thought this out and divorced them. But let me see what I can do here. Let me think of something. Let's see if there's anything else I want to clear up. I don't want them to come around because they're going to build this up, you know that. And Jeremy's going to bail out you. And the Snapchat is there now. Give me a second, I'm right back. I'm not going, I'm going to just go over here. I'm not going to go down the hallway, get that run back, so I'm trying to think what to do.
Yeah, at this moment, can you imagine? I wonder what she up there thinking about. Probably just herself, right? But I think you said it. She sound like she over it. Oh, no problem, foot soldier. This young girl here, she was a military wife. She was married to that soldier down there at the left corner of the screen. And then she started having an affair with another soldier. They all was in the military. Young folks, 22, 21, 23 years old. She married to one sergeant, Tyrone, and started dating and having an affair with Jeremy, this bright skin. They planned and had to cook up a plan to take Tyrone in the middle with the soldier uniform, take his life so they can get the $400,000. But as you can see, because she in court now, it ain't work out like that. And then another thing about her, I don't know if it's because of her military, whatever background or whatever, but she's very composed. It don't look like she, you never know what's going on with somebody on the inside. But right now, she don't look coerced. She don't look beaten up. She look like she know what she has done, and she knows she has to face these consequences. She know, and at one point in time, she just said, "I feel like I'm just as guilty as he is," which she is. But then she get to court and say the man coerced her.
He wasn't getting the opportunity. Okay, Bishop is working in Chicago. He's going to go that works in the crime line and stuff like that. One of the things.
Okay, there we go. Let me leave it alone. And the next morning, she just sitting there doing this. And the very next morning, the man who she had unalived in his own family yard driveway, his funeral was the next morning when she's sitting up in there doing this.
One of the things they're saying is, this guy that was with him. Who was the guy that was with him when he was up here? He was up here for like 3 days. So where did he stand while he's up here?
He went back and forth.
To where?
To back and forth to Chicago.
He drove back and forth every day?
Every day he drove back and forth.
Who was the guy that was with him?
Two different occasions, 2 different days he was with 2 different people. One person that he was with, his name is his nickname, but his real name is Hector Rodriguez. And the other person that he was with, his name is Jay, but I don't know his full name.
Damn. Why he brought people with him?
Somebody got on nervous speed.
I think Bishop is the one who bailed, but we didn't talk about it after it happened. But Bishop was the one who was with him majority of the time.
Okay, Bishop is the one who was with him majority of the time. His name's Hector Rodriguez.
Yeah.
Okay, how does he know him? From the service or what?
No, from Chicago.
Okay, so he's just one of the.
They friends. They grew up together.
Okay, who's the other guy that was with him?
Jay, I don't know his full name, but they're from Chicago.
So he come up every night and kind of watch the place. Was he going to try? I mean, like, if
he was trying it before. He wasn't like scoping out to see when he should do it. He was trying before.
Okay.
Exactly, Winner.
Getting the opportunity.
Yeah.
So are you guys talking because they're going to get your correspondent every day and you let them, and it just wasn't working out?
Yeah, he would be like, what's today looking like? And I'll be like, well, he's out cutting hair, and he's like, okay, well, we'll be up there in a few hours, and then he'll come up here and scope out and see if he'll come home by himself or if he wouldn't, and then he would try to take the opportunity.
Okay. So he was trying for 4 days. So people, neighbors saw the car sitting there. Yeah, so he wasn't watching for it, trying to plan it. He was actually trying those nights, but just couldn't make it happen because there was other people with Ty. Yeah. Okay. And so you're trying to get them separate and stuff like that. And
not even just getting him separate. But yes, I was letting him know where he was going and him being back at the house. Like, he'll be on the way to the house, or he's already gone.
Right, Lou.
Okay, so 4 days you guys are trying to kind of get this going. So there's a thinking about this. Would you
4
agree?
days trying to kill this man.
You know, you said you feel about as responsible as Jeremy is. I mean, would you say this is a 50-50 you guys were on this?
Yeah.
Okay.
Because I knew all about it, and like I said, I probably could have stopped it, but the reason that I didn't, because I felt like he would, be mad at me, or
Not love you anymore?
yeah, because I just felt like I wasn't getting that love at home like I wanted to.
I get that. Yeah, we go through these valleys. How we handle them.
Yeah, McDonald. That's what you're talking about, Winham.
Couple to couple. Would you agree to handle this the best?
It wasn't good at all.
What do you think happened to Jeremy?
I don't want to see him. I know that I don't want anything after this. I don't want anything to do with him. Like, if he has to sit in jail, and so be it. Because
If he has to.
this was a 50-50 thing. He talked about it to where police were able to call back up here, and he instantly said, this was me and her. It was never, well, I felt this type of way about him, so I scoped out and I did it. He wasn't thinking about taking care of me and my child like he told me that he would. He instantly just said, this is me and her, we playing this out together.
I don't know where she's from, but the husband was in Michigan, and that's where it happened at his
Even though he does that,
town.
I mean, you were upset that you were worried that he wouldn't like you, be mad at you. But still, I mean, isn't that a huge step to kill your husband just to be with another guy?
It's a very huge.
How would you look at it? This is somebody else. If you're watching this on your TV shows.
I would think it, like, even though that my husband wasn't, like, physically abusive, I would think of it, like, battery woman syndrome or something, because that's kind of how I felt.
But he didn't batter you.
He didn't.
You say he's a pretty good guy, though.
He was. However, just the emotional thing, and then with me being emotional with Jeremy, there were times where he put his hands on me, and, I stayed with him and continued pursuing a relationship like I did when I could have stopped, because every time it happened,
You could stop with Jeremy, you're saying?
yes,
Yeah, you could have.
because every time it happened, he's like, I'm sorry, I won't do that
So
again.
Jeremy put his hands on you?
Yeah,
Girl,
You still stay with him,
and
still
I
love him.
still stay with him.
girl. So at this point in time, she plotting and planning to unalive her husband, who she got a new baby with, and he don't abuse her. But it sounds like he ain't giving her the attention. Maybe sounds like maybe he being, still immature and not helping with the baby a lot. You know what I'm saying? It's crazy. Okay, I see her trying to bring in that angle. She felt he would be mad. She ain't having no love at home. But she's not enough for me. It's all about her. She who's not abusing you to go be and split money of $400,000 with a man who whipping your ass. That don't even make sense. I think right now she's just being so fucking conniving and manipulative. You see how she threw out that defense? She want to be a goddamn battered woman. She already thinking and plotting on what's going to be her excuse, what's going to be her defense. Boy. Oh, Coco.
You know, that I guess the biggest thing that I'm struggling with, I'm trying to think how I can work with you on that. But, man, I really struggle with the idea that the money was the biggest factor. I mean, because you didn't want her to come down there with you, I get that. But I get you want to have a life for your son. But, man, why not just divorce him? You wish you would have just divorced him?
I wish I would have just divorced him.
Yeah, me
The
too.
money,
But that's why I said, like, the money played a part, but it wasn't the biggest part.
but any part of it. I mean, the
Yeah,
money.
exactly.
A guy's dad who wasn't a horrible husband. I get a horrible husband. The guy wasn't a horrible husband, but he just wasn't emotionally into you as much as he was.
Yeah. But whenever we would talk about divorce or anything or counseling, nothing.
You weren't gonna do
He
it.
wasn't going to do it. It always felt like, even when we got together, I always felt like he just did it because, we get paid extra for being married. We get paid extra for having a child. And because I wasn't getting that love or anything, I felt like that's the only reason why he even married me. Even though I said that was one of the happiest days of my life, which it was, because that was like my taking moment.
Right.
But after, it wasn't like he was still trying to take me. It was just, I got you now, so whatever.
Right.
And whenever I would talk about counseling, whenever I would say something about a divorce, he wasn't going for it.
I wonder if she really talked to that young man about a damn divorce.
I'm not gonna be around.
I doubt that.
You know what I'm saying? So what I wanna do is, of those two detectives, which one do you like the best?
He's the one who,
Younger one or older one?
the bigger, fatter one, the one that's here, not the tall one, the officer type. But he talks to Tyrone, but even though I asked him not to say anything, he didn't say anything. So he
Talk to Tyrone, oh, to
the
his
big
dad.
Tyrone, yeah.
Okay. Well, what I'm saying is he's gotta be able to, I mean, this has gotta, something's gonna happen, you understand that. I mean, you're a smart girl, you're going to college. This is a big screw up, all right? But what I wanna do is I wanna explain to him that I think you regret it. I do. I think you overdid it. Yeah, I do. I mean, but he's the guy that's gotta take it back to Berrien County, all right? He's the guy that's gotta tell your side of what's going on. Get out in front of this because Jeremy's going to. And if you can take and, hey, listen, I'm gonna work with them because Jeremy is a killer. I mean, you basically were right there. He knew he was hiding outside that house. He's somewhere there. That kind of guy I don't want in Michigan, all right? So you kind of got a thing with Jeremy. You might be able to work with him and explain what was going on. You're wrong. Like you said, it's 50%. You guys planned this and did this for 4 days. You tried to kill him. And then you go back on the last day because you don't want to be out on the second. So you call him back and say, hey, let's get this done today. And I get where you're at, but my point is we got to be able to explain this. Jeremy's still on board, you know what I mean? So when I talk to him, like, you're going to give me a few seconds, just relax, you have your bars up here in your water. I want to explain to him what's going on. It's going to take me just a little bit to explain to him. I want to bring him in here. And I'm going to kind of go over everything we said. Does that make sense? Okay. Before you do that, how do you do this? I want to take it out. So that would be a paper. Because I don't want to take it. Sometimes things get mixed up a little bit like that. I don't want to. So wires.
Regret for herself.
I want things to really get put in your mouth like that. So.
The interviewer lefty. Winter, which one you was talking about when you said, I thought you was talking about Andre McDonald, the Jamaican. You was saying the last trial and the military person was all over the place. I thought immediately about Andre McDonald, but that's not who you talking about. Which other person was military and he was all over the place? The one that the concert pianist who killed that woman for his friend like an idiot. Let me know.
Did you know Jeremy Tyrone will be your answer? This plan, I want to put this back in Korea when everything was starting to go for you, going south for it. Plan to start. Korea. You just asked that.
Yes, absolutely, Lou. Hey, and that's why she on trial now for first-degree murder and conspiracy. She didn't shoot the man. She got Jeremy, the lover, right here, to
Right?
unalive him.
Okay, it's all, was the money part of the reason for the murder?
Tomorrow we're gonna watch the jailhouse visit. It's gonna be so good between the murderer and the victim's daddy. We're gonna watch that tomorrow night.
I just feel so bad because I just got with my family a lot for my family. Like,
You had to, I get that, man, they're gonna understand that part of it.
it's like now, like, I don't know what I'm supposed to do because I'm trying to make it. Like,
It's no way in hell if I was on
Did you
the.
try for 4 days to work together to kill Tyrone?
yes,
She admitted over and over and over.
Now I'm gonna ask you the big question. Would you just divorce him today?
yes.
I was saying there ain't nowhere in the world I could be in a jury box listening to this, watching this, and I would feel that she was coerced into this, that she was strong armed into a false confession. None of
Did I
this
threaten or promise you
at all.
anything today? On a scale of 1 to 10, 10 being great, 1 being crappy, how do you think I treated you? 10. I want to go through this with you. And then we're gonna take it, make sure we got our ducks in a row. Take your pen here. Write your name across the top.
And she just said no, she wasn't forced.
Right. I said, did you plan with Jeremy to kill Tyrone? You said yes. I put it in quotes. Go and put your initials there. Did this plan start in Korea? I think that's important. You said yes. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Right. Was the money part of the reason for the murder? You said yes. I screwed up, made a line, and we just initial above that, we crossed that out together. Actually, draw a blue line, make sure that you line, just so you cross that out too, okay? Did you try for 4 days to work together to kill Tyrone? You said yes. You might want to write it, why didn't you do it? Because there were other people, right? There were other people, right in there, maybe you didn't do it because there were other people. So we showed that you didn't want to shoot somebody innocent. We said other people. Yeah, so we didn't do it on those days.
Good evening, Lamar. Good to see you in the chat.
Right. Would you just divorce him today? Put a question mark after that. Is it yes? Go bring us there. Okay. Draw a line through there. I screwed up there with both those. To something there. Okay, initial love, we cross those out. I said, that's my last name. Did Lieutenant Gusky threaten or promise you anything? He said, okay, go initial there.
Hey, T Lounge, welcome back.
I treated you like a 10 today. All right, go ahead and say 11. Okay, this matters to me.
You probably gonna want to rewind this, girl, if you hadn't seen it already. T Lounge, this interrogation with her being coerced into confessing. This detective is meticulous with his interrogation, right? The way he got her going back right then, not no long pause, and literally signing off on statement by statement by statement. Letting her read it, making sure, she never saying when she reading this stuff, did you help to plan his murder? She reading it. She's sitting there just signing off and holding the conversation. She's not saying, well, no, I ain't say that. Or nah, that's not what I meant. Or nah, I don't know where you get that from. She's not saying none of that. And last night we heard her attorney say she was forced into this confession. Winter says, and after the parents could, and afterwards, oh, you talking about the military thing. And after the parents could offer proper discount on base, I'm complaining about that baby and him not taking care of him. They a young couple, had a young baby. That's a shit she complaining about. It's all stuff. If you give it time and some patience, y'all can probably work out. She just pulling it, just reaching for anything to be an excuse for why she did this to me.
That's just how we get along. Put a sign across the bottom, if you would. Essentially, Rodriguez, you know where he lives?
Who? Oh, no, I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know.
No, he's not rushing on.
No, actress. Today's the 12th. Let's put the date, lawyer name, number right beside here. So it's 1/12/19. The time is 3:15 a.m. Okay. Hey, this whole you already know the upper slate, so let's see what's up for me. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take this with me. I want to go over this with him, and I want to bring this in. I want to go over this with him. Is there anything else we need to tell?
We were sexual.
That you were sexual? Okay. Yeah, because that's kind of how you guys, that's how the relationship goes to that level that you really shouldn't get to, because then this stuff kind of happens. You know, when we start thinking.
Now she adding in information.
That's why Jeremy didn't like him. Because, that's why my husband and Jeremy didn't talk.
Did Tyrone know you guys are sexual?
No, not because of that. So one day me and Jeremy were talking and he complimented me, like, send me some, no. He sent me some heart eyes, and then like later on at night, he was acting out of pocket. He was like, what you doing? I'm trying to come see you. And that at that time we weren't sexual. We had never like seen each other like outside of work because we were just talking. And Ty saw it and he was like, I don't want you talking to him no more. And that was the reason why they weren't cordial.
Okay. All right, I'm just checking real quick, I'm sure.
Okay, so they was a work couple, right? All that flirting at work and having a work girlfriend, work boyfriend. This is what gets you in trouble with that shit. Because whenever you got something or a situation that's kind of like risky and sneaky and a secret, it makes that person, it seems to me from my experience, and then watching other stuff, whenever you in some of them like secret relationships like that, it seems to over amplify, like you just so in love, or how much you desire that person and how much you just want to be with that person, and give you so much space for fantasy. You know what I'm saying? Of course, the person who you're not with every day, day in, of course, the person that you get to sneak out and have their rendezvous, of course, that person seems more interesting, more attractive, more desirable than the humdrum. She just set herself up for failure all the way around. All the way around. Young girl.
I don't know, shit. As far as, what's that? That was kind of like one of the shows you see on TV, isn't it? Then cancellation, I'm sorry for it. Because I think it was a poor decision, emotional poor decision.
I just think they're going to put me in jail and just take my child away from me.
The other thing I struggle with most, you have 4 days to stop.
Yeah, they going to put your ass in jail, and yes, they going to take your baby from you, as they should. Didn't you just take somebody else's baby away from them? Child, these people kill me.
And that's really what, it's just eating at me, because I know I could have stopped it, but it's like, I just felt like if I would have tried to stop it, he would have been mad at me, because even in Korea, like,
But it's just love. It's just, man, who cares if you get a
no,
boyfriend?
but
You get another boyfriend.
yeah, but not even that. It's just that even in Korea, like if we would argue about something, I'm like, you know what, I'm done with you. Like, he would not even let me be done. He would come to my room, he would get the master key in Korea and just walk in there. Like, I just felt like I really
But
couldn't
I
get
can
away.
protect you. If you told fact, I would protect you with me.
I'm gonna let it play. What we at? Let me let it play, and then we're gonna discuss. Now I'm ready to get to some discussion.
Sounds like you was a decent dude. I mean, in hindsight, would you say he's probably a better guy than Jeremy?
Yeah.
Let me go get him. Anything else? You were sexual, you said you want to say that.
Yeah.
But that's probably all, you can tell him that when he comes in. I'll be back and continue if you know, I gotta walk down the hall.
I think she gonna call her mama now.
Okay, take a drink of water, just relax, all right? Also, been a long day, but.
I think she's gonna call her mama. That's a good part too. So while she's sitting there thinking and regretting and remorsizing, right? In certain parts of this, I feel for her. Like, she's so young. So young. I can understand the things that I'm saying now. I'm saying those things from the perspective of being a 47-year-old woman. At 20 something, 19 something, I wasn't thinking about the fact of, or looking at the fact of, things gonna work out for you, and we'll figure out how to manage the baby. I wasn't thinking about, let's have some open communication. You know what I'm saying? 50-year-old women fall for the okie dokie with having affairs and stuff and letting somebody get in their ear. So I feel for her. I felt for her. I still feel for her now, even though I know she cold-hearted, calculating, and conniving. I can kind of see the part where you get, her being so young, you get yourself caught up in situations that, man, this is life-changing. Life-changing. Off of just a simple mistake. The what made me think she's just super duper cold-hearted was when they left from off that island in Korea and she went back to the States. She should have, at that point in time, they should have stopped talking about, she should have never had that Negro drive from a whole other state to a third state to kill her husband. That's too much. Plus sprinkling the fact that two of them were married to one another. I mean, okay, no. Can you imagine the scandalous aspect on the base after this love triangle? Let's go. He's like, plus bringing the fact that two of them was married. Yeah, it was a scandal. And I think some of the other officers, if they knew about the affair, they can get in trouble. Caught up, but not caught up enough for murder. Yeah, because she wasn't even having the sex with it. It seemed like she just wanted some attention. Attention. And I'll try not to make things about, I know I do that, but I try not to. But let's call a thing a thing. She ain't the prettiest little thing. She ain't ugly, but she like a little country girl and everything. The way she's sitting up in that courthouse, even right here, she's supposed to be cute, right? She got her hair and her nails done. But she ain't super, super sassy. She ain't like really just like a hot girl. I truly feel like when she went off to the service, that's when she probably got the most attention. She fell in love with that dude, and all of a sudden she got confused.
Brought Jeremy in, I kind of talked him on the way down.
She wanted attention.
I only made a statement.
She homely.
Honest with me. I think he appreciates that. I think he's floored, you know what I mean? Like all of us are. It's a good shock. Yeah. That's something we just don't see every day. But we're going to do a statement. I just want to go through this with you. I'm going to kind of read it. Just we'll read it together. I'm just going to go through it real quick. It said, you signed at the top. She's in blue. Everything she did is in blue. Everything I did was in black. I said, did you plan, Jeremy, to kill Tyrone? He said,
yes.
Did the plan start in Korea?
Yes.
Now he got a witness in the room. This man is brilliant. Now he got to talk about the detective. Now he got a good thing he took all these actions or all these what's the word? all these steps or whatever, because she's literally sitting in court right now saying that it was a false confession. It's a good thing that he took all these measures to ensure this confession. Now he got a witness up in there, and they going through that list again with somebody else in the room. She had all the time in the world right there to say, no, this is not what I'm saying. No, you wrote that wrong. But she ain't doing that. It's a real confession. Excuse me. Louis say, that military base, whoever screened them folks need to be rethinking their pre-screening process. Child, you never know when somebody gonna go tick tick boom. Period.
He kind of started a relationship.
Sometimes you get a warning sign, a lot of times you don't. I don't think.
There were some emotional factors, but you really just got way too deep with him. Was the money part of the reason for the murder? Did you try for 4 days to work together to kill Tyrone? It's just other people were with him, so we didn't do it on those days. So you guys said there were cars there, which he says he wasn't scoping it. He just couldn't get a clean spot without somebody else there. Would you just divorce him today? He said, and I said, do Lieutenant Langowski threaten you or promise you anything? He said,
no.
And I put a 10 there, and you said it was a 10. What is that?
10.
Yeah, we had a good conversation. So I feel bad for her. I think it's one of the worst decisions I've ever seen in my career, 24 years of doing it. But is there anything else you want to ask right now? That this is her chance to get out in front of this, at least explain her side of it. I mean, Tyrone, obviously you didn't shoot him, but Tyrone did, but you got to explain.
Yeah, I mean, so basically, everything he's saying is accurate. This happened in Korea, it started in Korea, and you come back here, and you guys were communicating. Well, you were here at Tyrone's.
Yeah.
You and Jeremy.
Yeah.
And they wanted to do it before they went down there. She wanted it done because she was going to bring her sister down with them. She didn't want her sister down there. So that's why they kind of rushed it on New Year's Eve.
Okay.
Is that right?
Yeah, his house.
Okay.
And I just was feeling bad because I didn't want another one of his siblings coming to stay with us, because as soon as we got married, a month later, out of our new apartment, he went to go get his brother, and his brother was living with us. And I was just unhappy with it.
So that went pretty bad that time, and to this time with sister.
Yeah, because I was telling him, like, I don't want her to come stay with us. And he's like, well, I want to get her out of the city. She's going to come with us. Like, I didn't have a say so in it.
Okay. Seems like it's probably been like that for a while. Like maybe there's.
It's all mentioned that when they first got married, she also mentioned that when they first got married, it wasn't even like they didn't have like a long time, a honeymoon or time to get to know each other and be married before he moved his brother in there. And now he's finna move his sister in. You know, this is horrible. Damn.
I never really had to say so in anything. Like if I bring up a suggestion about us, because I had a suggestion about us going to Mayor's Council, I had a suggestion about us and so forth, and he was not hearing any of that.
Just shutting it all down?
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, you understand, I mean, I know you're taking college classes, you're a smart girl. This is a pretty big situation, you understand that?
Okay.
And I don't know what the detectives are gonna do, but I'm gonna we're gonna get the other detectives, they're gonna come back and get you. I don't know what their plans are, but I'm guessing you're probably going home tonight, to be a fair guessing, if I were guessing. So, but they'll make that decision as far as, us. Anything else you wanna tell me? All right. Now, we're gonna step out, we'll be back, just wanna hang tight just a little bit, okay? According to him. You wanna grab your partner's jacket? Yeah, that, you guys go outside there. Yep.
All right, hang tight, we'll be right back. Okay.
Appreciate being honest.
Well, Lou, I know what you're saying. I get it. But let's say this too. She had already had an interrogation like a day or two before then. And this was like a second interview with a different person. and she was denying it the first half of the interrogation. It wasn't until, because she was saying no, she had nothing to do with it. It wasn't until after talking that first part, denying any knowledge or something, that he said, okay, well, so we can go ahead and finish this off. Can you take a lie detector test? That's when she decided to take the lie detector test, and that's when, because it picked up some deception or whatever, that's what got them to this point. She wasn't just she wasn't just ready to say, oh, I had something to do with it or nothing. I think what broke her resolve was the lie detector test. And that's when she should have just used her good mind and said civic mind. Don't have to be military. Her good civic mind, and said, no, I don't want to take no lie detector. I'll wait till my attorney. Absolutely, Louis. That's what I was saying about that, like that guy from Canada. That was that. He was like a high up military official, and he was a goddamn serial killer who was dressing in women's clothes.
119 indicates there's about 12 minutes left.
Right, Lou.
Is there any more interviewing or anything along those lines after that, after you step out with Officer Peppers?
No, sir.
Now, you indicated earlier
That's crazy,
you started
Winner.
out with not knowing a whole lot of facts about the case. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Did you learn some more facts about the case in your first interview with the defendant?
Yes, I did.
Facts about food and coming home to deliver food and things like that?
That is correct.
Did you know that beforehand at all?
No, I did not.
And you talked, you mentioned things to her about, hey, you got to be up front, you got to get out in front of this. You're getting cheated on, you're being manipulated. Did you know for facts that she was being cheated on or being manipulated?
I did not.
Why did you say that, sir?
Just themes, once again, to help a person talk. I mean,
It's
a lot easier to
ain't
talk
seen
about a
you.
victim who's maybe not.
You
the
ain't
best
seen
victim
me,
in the
huh?
world.
In the end, she admitted that Ty was a pretty decent guy.
Hey,
Yes,
Renee.
it went a lot different than what I thought.
A lot different from what you initially thought.
Yes,
He would protect her,
yes,
take care of her, according to her.
that's what she said.
So when you're throwing these themes out or putting themes out there for people, those aren't necessarily your personal beliefs at all.
No, they're not.
He said, yeah, I was just lying. See, throwing it
She
against the
gave
wall.
you, there were statements in from Cuellar. She indicated in the interview she had a fight with her husband around June in Korea.
Yes, that's correct.
Was that a fact that you knew prior to the interview?
No, I did not.
And then Cuellar indicated to her, well, I can take care of that.
That's correct.
She never once told you, she said, no, don't do that, did she?
No, she did not.
Yeah, that's what he's saying, pretty much.
Correct me if I'm wrong. She had a plan for after the murder, correct?
I'm sorry, sir.
She had a plan for after the murder with Jeremy?
That she was going to move back down to Georgia. Yes.
Oh, so she from Georgia, y'all.
Did you know that prior to the interview?
No, I did not.
At one point, you asked her, you asked the question, where was he staying up here?
That's crazy, Winner.
Yes, I thought he was probably, I made the assumption that he was staying somewhere in the area.
Did she correct you about that?
Yes, she did. She told me that he was driving back and forth, which was news. So I didn't think of that.
Okay, so you have to speak up.
I'm sorry, that was news to me. I didn't think of that. I didn't think that was an option.
So is that, you talked earlier about when you're interviewing people and they give you further details or correct you. Is that important to you when she corrected you at times?
Absolutely. Something we look for is something they tell us that is a fact that I didn't know.
And she indicated to you that he would contact her saying, what is it looking like today? And she would then give the rundown of what the victim was doing.
What he was doing or where he was at. Yes.
It was no point she didn't want this to happen. None.
She also indicated to you that she lied to his family and to her family.
That's correct.
I'm waiting to hear the defense attorney try to chew him up or cut him up about coercion.
About her husband and what she knew, what he knew,
This might be a
Hassel knew about her and Koya, correct?
That's correct.
And she gave you a detail about seeing a text with heart eyes.
Yes, and I didn't recall that till the video that he didn't want her talking to him anymore.
Is that some of those additional details you look for?
Yes, that is correct.
At the end, you said again, hey, this is your chance. Everything you have to say, get out in front of it. This is your chance, correct?
That is correct.
Your Honor, I would move to admit People's Exhibit 117 into evidence, the Miranda warning sheet. No objection. No.
All right, so this is the boring part. This is the best of. Let me see. Hold on. Let's take a look at Kemia.
Did that theme seem to change as the
Look at
interview
Kemia,
progressed?
child.
Yes. When
Hey,
I realized
Sticks,
she's more
girl.
involved than what
Good evening.
originally she could have been.
Involved in the planning of
Look at
everything?
her.
Yes, that is correct. You asked her, is it going to look like you're pushing it? What did she say?
When she came out that courthouse like this, looking like this is at the moment too. You know already. Hey, Steph, good evening, y'all. Thank y'all for joining. But just the fact that she came in court and did this to her hair like this, that goes to tell you how manipulative and conniving she is. You know what I'm saying? To me, this is a great show display of how manipulative, how goddamn conniving and trickery she into. Hey, Mr. 219, everybody, y'all been up in the cloud. You know? And as a juror, I would say to myself, I would say, you know, the way she was talking in that interview and how she looking over there now, you know, she is very much so a liar, a master manipulator. She trifling, you know. Crazy. This little tramp here, I felt like, hold on, I'm trying to get to the end of the last part of this detective. So tomorrow night, you guys, we're gonna look at the because we already know she did it.
She
This is a
started
look back
parroting what
trial.
you had said, right?
No
That's a fair statement.
remorse. None.
You indicated a number
The
of
only
times.
remorse she have is
and
for herself.
I sort of lost.
Okay, so this is part 2. Okay, hold on. I'm trying to see if they're gonna do the part where the phone call with her mama. Hold on, let me see. Okay, this is part 2. Did they rewind it? I be so happy when I see everybody. She tried to file her first appeal, y'all, and it was denied. And that's also why she didn't testify in order to do an appeal. Hold on. But anywho, I was gonna say that tomorrow they start talking
There's
to
no doubt about it. You had something to do with this. I'm telling you right now, I don't care. I believe there's a lot of things going on. I believe Cherry's a manipulative person who's talked you and pushed you to something. And maybe there's something, maybe Tyrone wasn't the greatest dad in the world. There's some concerns with your child's safety. But I'm telling you, I see girls get pushed in situations doing what they're going to do. And there's no doubt about it, you are a pawn here. You're the most important thing I care about right now because you know what? You matter to your son. And that matters. You didn't do this, but you got to get out in front of this. Because there's some of the things right now that I want to tell you, but I don't want to tell you everything. This part, I know that he's in custody. He's been in custody. I want to believe you're 100% clear of this. I don't know what's going on in Georgia. I don't care about Georgia. I care about you, and I care about Michigan. I care about Chump. But I'm telling you right now, he's wrapped you up in this. He's brought you down to something that you don't deserve to be part of. Not for a second. And I'm willing to say that. Without a doubt, I know you don't belong in this. You're not part of this. But what happens, we get involved in situations and we get a manipulated person, we don't see things clearly. You know what I really believe is
And who would buy into that? The way my mind is, the way I'm built up, the moment he's saying all that kind of stuff, you know, you got to think about your baby, you know, at least you think about your baby, you want it better for him. I would be like, this man is lying to me, because ain't nobody in their right mind. I would know that none of that shit that he's saying makes sense. How am I thinking about my son when I take his daddy just completely off the picture, off the map? You know what I'm saying? How is that so? I don't know. These people kill me.
all he covered you up with, all he brainwashed you with isn't true. It isn't going to be rosy on the other side. He's not the guy that's going to be out there helping you. He's the guy that's going to turn on you. And what I don't want to do is I don't want to give him that opportunity. What I don't want to do is I don't want to go and talk to these detectives and tell them you failed the test. Happens, they say, well, of course she's going to be honest. I don't want to tell them. I want you to know she was honest with me. We were still working it out when she was honest with me and told me what was going on. But you got to get out from us. My hand is out for you right now. For only words, I just met you today. But I'm telling you, I've been doing this 24 years. And I pick people off all the time. Good people, bad people. I'm telling you, what I see in you is a good person. You're not a manipulative person. You're not the person driving this. Now, you may have run wrong with it without a doubt. And there's no doubt about it, you did. What I'm saying is, you are not driving this. You are not the one pulling the trigger. You need to get out front of this for your son. Because you have a future. Without a doubt you are, but don't let him put you underneath the bus, because that's where it's going right now. Because this isn't something you planned. This guy got into you, he got into your head, you guys are working together, he's playing you, and I don't mean it in a bad way. We all get played.
Exactly.
We've all been in that situation because we have problems in a relationship. You're going through the hormone thing, whether you know it or not, after having a baby. That 1 year thing is a big time where you're going up and down. You know what I'm talking more than I do. I know what my wife went through. She was fluctuating. We had some hard times because she was having problems with me, and I wasn't doing anything. But you know what? That's not your fault. But getting out in front of it is what you got to do now. Because how we handle this from this thing forward is huge. My dad always said to me, you know what, Andy, it isn't what we do. It's not what happens to us, it's how we respond to it. And what you do today, what you do this minute is going to be a huge thing. Because I don't want those guys to wrap it up around you. You don't deserve to be in this circle at all. Unfortunately, you were taken advantage of. And you were by a person who is a manipulator. The guy's cold-blooded, all right? To do what he did was cold-blooded. And he did it because, you know what? Next, he wants to be able to control you. He's going to have you to himself. But there's no doubt about it. You talked about it in your plan because, boy, you blow it up bigger than anything. You guys talked about it, but I don't believe it's the girl I'm talking to right now.
All for money, and all because, to me,
and I want to be able to say that. You ever hear about co-signing a loan when they say that? You ever heard a loan co-sign for it? When you got your house, did you have to sign it yet? Did your mom put it?
No, it's just me.
You know what? But you know what co-signing means, right?
Yeah.
I'm going to put my name on with you. And I'm telling you, when I take and do this today, I'm gonna have to make a report of someone else line. Someone we're done. When I get you through this, then I'm gonna make a report that's positive. Because when I say, hey, I'm going to come alongside you and say, listen, this is the person I'm dealing with. You're a person like my uncle. You're a person that, you know what? There's some outside circumstances here that pushed you to a level that you would never have been to. Now with all the stress and everything that was going on in your life, there's no way this would happen. And I believe that without a doubt.
Okay, they were playing this part for the defense line of questioning.
And if that's what it is, that's somebody I can work with. Because you're not somebody I got to worry about. You're not somebody that I'm scared of. I wouldn't be scared to have you here in Michigan the rest of your life.
Detective.
Not willy-nilly this.
Oh, no, I don't.
So this is the defense questioning now, cross-examination.
Thanks. Now, Detective, you've been speaking with, you've been speaking with Ms. Hassel for, you said about an hour and a quarter before this portion of the video. Is that correct?
That's
An hour
correct.
and a half.
You interviewed her a first time. That was that hour and a quarter, and then you came back and started talking to her again, correct?
That's fair, yes.
And you indicated
Right.
your training, you've been through years of training, is that correct?
That'd be a fair statement, yes.
Hundreds, maybe thousands of hours.
doing, learning how to interview people. Is that correct?
I'd say hundreds of hours, maybe.
Hundreds, okay.
Yeah.
And I think you indicated that you actually also teach some of the seminars, give some of the lectures. Is that correct?
That is correct.
And so,
He's so matter
would
of
it be fair to
fact.
say
I
that
love it.
perhaps you are considered, one of the best of the best if you're sought out by, who hires you to give these lectures and give these seminars?
I work some for the Prosecutors Association. I've taught there. I've taught different places, mostly police academies.
And so different law enforcement agencies, and is it PAMS, the Prosecuting Attorneys Association of Michigan?
Yes, sir.
They hire you from all over the state because, understandably, you've been doing this a long time. You're very good at interviewing people, correct?
I would say I'm okay. Yes.
Not the humility.
One of the things that you said that you do is you want to build a rapport with the subject of the interview. Is that correct?
That is correct.
Why is that important?
It's important in every interview. If you're interviewing a victim, sometimes you get them to open up what really happened to them. A witness, sometimes we deal in situations where witnesses don't actually trust the police. And so you have to develop a little bit of rapport to get them to trust you. And definitely when you're dealing with someone that may have done something wrong, you have to lower their anxiety in that room.
And you took the words, what would have been out of my mouth. You want the person who's there to trust you, correct?
I don't know what trust, just I have to have them talk. They understand that I'm a human being also.
Sure. But a moment ago, you said to the jury, you said it's important for them to trust you, correct?
I think lower their anxiety. I don't know what I say, trust. That's fair if I say that, that's a fine word.
And one of the things that you're allowed to do when you're interviewing someone is you're allowed to make things up. Is that right?
That is correct.
You're allowed to lie to a subject to see what they will say in response to your lie. Is that right?
That is correct.
And so when these people trust you, when you built this rapport, you want them to believe whatever it is that's coming out of your mouth, correct?
Yes.
So for example, let me take a step back. So when you float these, you said you float theories to subjects of interviews, is that right?
Theories.
Sure. In your direct exam before we watched the video, you said you float
make them
these
think you're on
theories
his
or these themes
close
to
to 'em.
people because you want them to kind of grab a hold of something.
Relate to
You think
them.
it makes it easier for them to tell you if they have
Ad
a
lib your
reason
personal
or
stuff.
something to blame. Is that right?
Absolutely. Gives them a way to rationalize the behavior they did.
And in the video that we watched, isn't it true, you're actually the first person who brings up money in the interview that we watched, is that right?
Right.
I'm not sure if I'm the first or not, but I knew about it, yes.
He
Let
did.
me ask you this, when you say you knew about it, you said you were given very scant details about the investigation before this interview, is that right?
That is correct.
All right. You were told that there was a shooting, presumably, is that correct?
That's correct.
That there was some sort of love triangle, there was
Not
some
at
sort
all,
of third person, is that right?
There's a third person
With a new
involved.
baby,
Correct.
a 1-year-old.
That people are from out of state, is that right?
That's correct.
That you said that everyone's in the military, is that right?
That is correct.
You were given the name Jeremy Cuellar?
Yes, I knew Jeremy. I didn't know the name of the last time. At the time, I didn't know it. I called him Jeremy.
Sure. Obviously, you knew Miss Hassel, is that right?
That is correct.
You're given the name Tyrone Hassel.
That is correct.
And when you start floating the theories that you're floating in that video, you talked about Tyrone not being a good husband, is that right?
Yes, I did.
That's something that you brought up, correct?
Absolutely.
And it's only after you brought it up that Kemia started talking about him not being a good husband, is that correct?
I think she actually said he wasn't the worst husband. We came to that conclusion.
Sure, but it was your theory, it was the thing that you floated, that was, you said, well, maybe he's not giving you the love and the attention that you need at home, correct?
That is correct.
And it's only after you floated that theory that she started parroting what you had said, right?
That's a fair statement.
You indicated a number of times, and I sort of lost track at 10, but you say you got to get out in front of this. Do you recall hearing yourself say that?
Yes, I did.
All right. You said it, sometimes you got to get out in front of it for your son, correct?
That is correct.
You said you got to get out in front of it because Jeremy is going to throw you under the bus. Do you remember saying that?
I believe I did. Yes.
You actually said that Jeremy was in custody at one point and then he was talking. Do you remember saying that?
Yes, I did.
Do you know now that, well, let me ask this a better way. You had no idea if Jeremy was in custody, did you?
I don't recall if I knew that or not, or if I just said that. Either way.
And you had no idea whether or not he was making statements while in custody about Kemia and her involvement, correct?
Well, I believe he made statements. That's how we ended up there to start with.
While he was in custody, you have no idea if he was making any statements about her.
Yes, I have no idea.
Okay. And so when you're telling her that he's in custody and he's going to throw her under the bus and she's got to get out in front of this, you're hoping that she will trust you and think that, wow, this guy's right, I better say something. Isn't that true?
Yeah, fair statement.
And when you say you got to get out in front of this, the implication is that if she doesn't get out in front of this, if she doesn't tell you what you're asking her to hear, something bad is going to happen, correct?
She may be blamed for more than what she did. I didn't know where she was at the time.
Sure. But so the answer to my question is, if she doesn't get out in front of this and tell you what you want to hear, something potentially bad could happen. Isn't that right?
If she doesn't tell me the truth, what's going on, yes.
Well, the truth, what you think is the truth, but you don't know what the truth is, correct?
No, I have to take someone's word for it.
Okay. And when you say you want the truth, and then you say, well, maybe he wasn't a good husband, and then she says, oh, well, you're right, he wasn't the best husband, you don't know if that's the truth or if that's her parroting what you've floated out there.
But
Yeah, she may be going along with that theme. That's possible.
And when you say that you want to co-sign her loan, okay, what are you trying to get across to her at that point?
What I'm telling her, I want to be able to tell her side of the story. At the point when I say that, I don't know how deep she's into this. She very well could be more of a victim witness than really a suspect. I don't know at this point.
right.
And at that point, what you're trying to get across to her is, and correct me if I'm wrong, you've kind of got her back. Is that fair?
That's a fair statement. If she's not,
And there you go right there. He's saying to himself, at this point in the time, I'm just doing my job and floating stuff out. Really, truthfully, she might be a victim. And so if she's a victim, he pretty much saying that even if she's a victim, we're going to find out, she don't have to go with what I'm saying. That parenting shit, if the man wasn't no bad husband, she can say, no, he wasn't a bad husband. And she did say he wasn't the worst of husbands. So I don't even see why her attorney trying to say like she parented him when not only did she corrected him when he was wrong, she added in stuff he didn't even ask about. Child, they tried it. But that's it.
I don't want something to happen to her. That's for sure.
Well, Detective, it's Detective, right?
Sure.
Detective, you're co-signing the loan statement. That came after you'd already decided that you didn't believe her, correct?
That is correct.
So when you say you weren't sure if she was a victim or if she was a witness, in your head, you'd already decided that she was a defendant or was going to be a defendant.
I believe she wasn't being honest with me, so I can tell you.
And so when you say you'll co-sign the loan and you've got her back, this is again you just trying to get her to trust you so that she will give you what you want. Is that fair?
No, she'll give me her involvement or what her involvement was. I believe she wasn't truthful, so I'm telling her she needs to get her portion of what she did out front.
And get it out in front so that what?
Well, it's been my experience in 25 years. Usually the person that cooperates with law enforcement, somebody has worked with or looked favorably upon, and somebody else usually isn't.
Well, sir, let me ask you this. You said that you were going to go to bat for her. Is that right?
That's correct.
All right. And you're here testifying against her in a first-degree murder trial, correct?
That is correct.
Have you taken any affirmative steps to go to bat for her?
Well, I do feel that it changed a lot. When I said I was going to go to bat for her, I didn't realize the amount that she was involved in this. I was more shocked than I have been in a long time.
Well, let me ask you this. After you said you'd go to bat for her, did you talk to the prosecutor about some sort of deal?
I don't make deals. That's not my
I
job.
don't object, Your Honor. That has nothing to do, there's nothing mentioned in there about an interview or plea bargain or anything like that. Anything that happens subsequent to the interview with the prosecutor, that's not his
It's
involvement.
been asked and answered. I'm going to let you go on from here.
Thank you. And my
I
question is,
just like how
have you
direct.
taken any affirmative steps
Good point.
to
Yeah, sure.
help Kemia Hassel in any way since this interview has been concluded?
An objection, that's again, not really relevant, Your Honor. What's relevant was quite on there in the state of minds, whatever, while the interview was going on. But what his affirmative steps are afterwards, it's not relevant.
I think he already indicated he had not. I'll let you go on from there.
Thank you. When you start invoking the name Chunk, who's Chunk?
That was her son.
And you're invoking his name because this is, again, you're trying to build this bond with her. Is that right?
I'm playing what's important to her. I believe that's important to her. And I think it is important.
And when you're using his name, let me take a step back for a second. You said Jeremy was
Take a step back. She's going to be out the court.
I made that was a theme that I used. Yes.
And you said it repeatedly. Is that right?
Yes, I did.
But it's fair to say that you're doing your own version of manipulating during this interview too. Is that right?
Well, I'm trying to make her feel comfortable and give her an option or a way to explain something that she may have been involved in, yes.
So yes is the answer to the question. You were also being a manipulator in this situation, correct?
I guess that's a fair statement, yes.
What time was this video shot? Do you recall?
Right, because like he said, yeah, I told her I go to bat for her until I found out she was a cold-blooded, conniving, witchy woman. Once I found out that she had 4 days to change her mind, that she did this, I'm not going to bat for her black ass.
What time on the interview?
I believe the numbers are accurate.
So at least the portion that I played
Ain't
started
like it
at
was
about
personal.
2:30 in the morning. Is that right?
That's correct.
And you'd already, as I said, so if you've been asking her questions, she got there about 1-ish in the morning. Is that right?
I think they got there about midnight. I think it was shortly after midnight. I'm not sure.
In any event, you start the second part of the interview, you start questioning her at 2:30, and that lasts for about another 45 minutes to an hour as well. Is that right?
That's a fair statement.
And detective, in that video, and obviously it's not up now, but in that video is also a desk with a computer on it. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
And when you conducted the first part of the interview, if you recall, you were seated behind the desk. Is that correct?
No, I would be in the same location, just off screen.
Let me ask you this. In the video, you're seated fairly close. I'm looking at it like it's there. In the video, you are seated fairly closely to my client. Is that right?
Yeah, he
In
looked
that
like a
video,
young
yes.
loyalty.
Is that where you were sitting
My.
during the first part of the interview?
About 6 inches back is where I'm sitting.
You
Right.
close that gap because you want to create an environment of intimacy. Is that fair?
No,
No?
that's not fair. There would be do you want me to explain?
No, it's okay. You said that Jeremy had brainwashed her into thinking that he cared about her when he didn't. Is that correct?
Yes, I did.
You're doing a version of that as well, though, aren't you?
Brainwashing?
Sure.
No, I wouldn't think so. I'm talking over the course of time. Any manipulator, it's just a theme that I'm trying to make her feel like she's more of a victim than what she is.
And again, in a sense, you're trying to
Exactly.
you're
This
trying
is
to
foolish.
manipulate her into thinking, oh, I didn't do anything wrong, and I can just explain everything, including the idea that you've parroted back, you've given to her. Is that fair?
That's a fair statement.
And there are a number of details you said about this homicide that had to come from somebody who was involved. Is that correct?
I would say so.
You don't know if some of those details were told to her after the shooting, do you?
I do not.
So for example, somebody who came in who knew Jeremy Cuellar and was able to talk about the specific details of a homicide, that doesn't necessarily mean he or she was involved. Is that correct?
Could you repeat, sir? I'm sorry.
You said that one of the things that you looked for in determining if you thought Kemia was involved is she was able to give details of the homicide. Is that correct?
Details of that night, yes.
And it's fair to say that she could have been able to tell you those details because there's something that she was involved in personally, or there are certain things involved in the homicide that she could have been told about later. Is that correct?
I'm going to object to that, Your Honor, in terms of what she was involved with personally or something she could have been told about later. It causes him to speculate. about what she was
Speculation.
told about
That's
later.
what I was gonna say.
No
Speculation.
evidence- Nothing in evidence that indicates she found out anything later from anybody else.
I'm gonna sustain your objection, but you can ask a different question.
Let me rephrase that. Are you able to tell if Miss Hassel told you details of this homicide because she knew about them and was involved, or if she was told about them later? Are you able to know the difference if she gives you a set of details?
I guess I'm not clear. The facts she gave me, yes, she could have heard some of those facts after the fact. That's correct.
Just a moment, please, sir.
I mean, then hopefully she would just say somebody told her. Right. So basically,
At one point during the video, Kemia told you that she had spoken about this with Mr. Qued, with Jeremy, and she said she didn't think he would actually do it. Do you remember that?
I believe early on she thought she was just talking.
And you corrected her then at that point. So what she told you, when she told you that she didn't think he would go along with it, You told her that couldn't be true. Is that right?
That's correct, because he was out there that night.
I said that in the chat. That don't even
Let me
make
ask you this,
sense.
Detective. I'm not gonna ask that question. I have nothing else, Judge. Thank you.
Child, sit down.
Detective Wongowski, is there a difference between correcting her and confronting her with the truth?
Yes, there is.
Did you confront her at times and said, look, Mike, you gotta be honest with me, you're not being honest with me?
That is correct.
She wanted to come talk to you, correct?
That is correct.
Did
Oh,
she
I didn't know
appear
that.
capable of responding to your questions and understanding your questions with no
I didn't know
issues at all?
Yeah,
she
she's very
wanted
well
to talk
spoken.
to the
She
interview.
appeared tired and overly exhausted where she couldn't understand you?
No, she did not.
No, she did
It
not.
was her wish to talk to you.
Yes, it was.
You
Wow, I
excluded
didn't
her
know
as
that.
involuntary.
Yes, I did.
You told her actually up front, early on, there's no doubt you planned this,
That is correct.
right up front in the beginning,
Yes,
in that first 6 months, correct?
that is correct.
But then you said, defense asked you about, let me ask you this, you said you were closer, it was about maybe a 6-inch difference.
That is correct.
And you indicated you want to know why. I would like to know why.
Well, in proximity, when my chair is round at the end. I sit at the end of the table when I'm writing because I write on the end of the table. When I come back in the room, when I confront somebody, I'm no longer writing at that point. So I leaned into the person. So when you do that, it's about 6 inches. That's why I show up on camera.
Okay, so you're sitting in the same chair the whole time.
Yes,
So the first time you're writing,
Why are you
then
in
when
front of
you're
the
done
camera,
writing,
mister?
it's just more naturally to lean forward, or?
yeah, I'm leaning forward, talking to the person. So what happens is I lean forward, the camera's here, I come into the camera screen.
All right, so we're gonna stop it right there because I'm trying to say real mindful so I can get the clips from this video. But anyway, you guys, so this case it's an open and closed, open and shut case, right? Because she got the confession, she went for the coercion. That don't even look right. So tomorrow, that's why this was just the best stuff to see how they work around trying to say that it was a false confession. Tomorrow when we come in, we'll watch the verdict, right? To see how she took it. And then the last part I want to show you guys is when Jeremy Quaylar, the shooter, when he actually asked for a request for the victim, Tyrone Jr., for his father to come up to the jailhouse. And so they have the whole deal with them on the jailhouse phones talking through the glass. We're gonna take a real close look at this jailhouse visit. Okay. And I think it's just a trip. I got some notes and some talking points I want to talk about. So make sure y'all tune in tomorrow at 7 p.m. We will be right here at Trial Watch with Dimitri in the Lit Lane Jury Box. So yeah, that's gonna be real, real good. I want to talk about that. I want to get y'all thoughts. I want to see, everything. So this is pretty much how the format of how this is supposed to go. It's supposed to be like start on Monday where we talk about, get the background of the case. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, watch the trial watch. And by Thursday, we should be getting the verdict. And boom, off for the weekend, come back, new trial. 4 days. Boom, 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 boom. Now, I want to say this too. So I was keeping my eye out today on the you like it like this. I think it's better when it go faster so we don't get bogged down in a trial for weeks or a month. This is just have to be. I want to put up the clip today in what's her name? Lori Vallow Daybell trial. With her acting as an owner attorney, today started the witnesses, the personal witnesses. And so that's really worth a look at. Today, Lori got a chance to cross-examine a woman who had met her husband, who she on trial for murdering. She got to examine one of the women he met off a dating site. That got off the chain. It's really good to see it. You like it this way too? I think it's better this way too. And I got a couple of cases already lined up. Already got the parts that I want to show you guys. I do believe In other words, keep your fingers crossed that the Rangers don't go on vacation until we finish. No, I'll be here tomorrow. That's the last night. Actually, it looked lavender, I guess, because it's just light, but it's actually like a sky blue. I did, and then my son put the decals on it, and then I put the top coat of the gel deal. Let me show y'all Apollo. 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 Y'all, Apollo getting big, y'all. I'm gonna show him to y'all. He's not up in here, so I'll show him to y'all tomorrow. One more thing I wanted to say. That's it. Okay, that's it. Thank you. Thank you. I finally found the right nails that look better, like in my nail bed, than the ones I have been wearing. The only thing is I have got to find some good nail glue. I keep trying these different ones, baby. These nails just be popping off. Y'all, Mr. Lit Jr. Now I had to tell y'all all about it. I know I haven't been telling y'all a lot what's going on, but it's a lot going on, y'all. And tomorrow we go back to go. Y'all not gonna see me tomorrow day because we're gonna try to get back to the DPS to get his ID again. Somehow, some way, I don't know how. From the first time I went on his birthday for his ID, and we was missing, I needed one more proof of address. At that time, I had his birth certificate, and the birth certificate came up missing. And I'm like, how in the hell did his birth certificate come up missing when the whole package of his documents, I had put him on the dining room table for that whole time after that first visit. I said the only thing that could have happened was, me and my honey thought about it. We say the only thing that could have happened was maybe the man at the DPS didn't give back my document because I had it. But that's neither here there. I went to the Bible statistics the other day, got another copy of his birth certificate. So we're going back tomorrow. My honey was supposed to take us, but he got something come up. So I had told my son, I say, well, I say, quite honestly, it'd be a good time to go ahead and ride the bus because I wanted to teach him how to ride the bus. He needs to know how to get himself to fun places. He needs to know. I've been said that. I think I told y'all that. So tomorrow, the bus ride from right here to where we going is 15 minutes. So I said that's a good time to show him how to ride the goddamn bus, teach him how to ride the bus, teach him how to look at the schedule. So that's what we're going to be doing tomorrow, y'all. But that's all tomorrow morning and afternoon. I'll be back on here tomorrow night with the conclusion of Gruesome Betrayal, the Kemia Hassel story, okay? All right. So that's a good little catch up. Thank y'all for coming through. I'll see y'all tomorrow night on Trial Watch with Demetra. Lit Lane Jury Box. Y'all are officially dismissed. About the buzz, yeah, I want him to be as independent as freaking possible. You know what I'm saying? I do need to get with y'all and tell y'all it's been some amazing stuff going on. I'll tell y'all. Okay. All right, y'all. Good night. Oh, I forgot to play my thing.